I've been enjoying Project Zomboid quite a lot recently, and can easily say it's one of the best, if not the best, zombie survival game there is. There's just something special about it that I cannot explain. That's something which makes you so engaged, but always keeps you on your toes. But just like any other game, it has its flaws, and Zomboid is no exception, despite the fact that the game still appears to be in early access. So, let's get into it. The very first thing that comes to mind just has to be the skill system. You see, there's quite a lot of them, but the ones I have a problem with are carpentry, electrical, metalworking, mechanics, and tailoring. Since, you see, almost each of them is so important, but not as essential as you may think. Each of these skills unlocks new features available to you depending on which one it is, at corresponding levels, but every single one of them faces a similar problem. So let's take carpentry for example and just go over it. So to begin training you need adequate tools, which is not a big deal as you'd expect. But the biggest problem starts once you begin training. Of course there's the skill books which boost your experience gain by a massive amount. But training, even with all the XP multipliers, still takes such a long time. Hundreds if not thousands of pieces of the furniture to get to level 10. To the point where I don't even want to imagine what it's like without the skill books. But even after you reach level 10 the payoff is... Of course it's gonna allow you to build walls, floors, even pieces of the furniture depending on what level you are. But since you're able to pick up furniture from any building there is, it kinda makes it somewhat pointless. The best thing there is that I can think of is probably the rain collector barrels, since those can only be built by the player and the water shuts off fairly soon. And that's kind of it. There's almost nothing else to it, and the same thing goes for almost any of these skills, whether it's electrical, tailoring, or even metalworking. Of course, I'm not saying these skills are anywhere close to being useless, but I just wish that training these skills was at least fun, because it takes so fucking long. The second thing I absolutely hate and always avoid in this game is the crafting menu. I cannot fathom of how horrible it is. Just trying to find something that you wish to make is such a pain in the ass. I swear, I try to avoid it as much as possible, for as long as possible. It's that fucking bad. I have played a lot of survival games and all of them were different, but still, Project Zomboid gets the prize for the worst crafting menu I've ever seen. Just going through these tabs, scrolling for so long just to find something that you wish to make right now or in the future just feels like a chore that sucks you in. I really wish it was something better, something less overwhelming and actually more appealing. And the last thing is definitely the graphics. Now listen, I'm not one of those guys that gets obsessed with graphics. Fuck, I'll play Heroes Might and Magic 3 any day of the week. But in Zomboid they're fine, as long as you don't stare at them for too long, if that makes any sense. I think the problem is this thing right here, which always jumps and twitches and somewhat makes everything look so much worse than it actually is. And I think a lot of visual problems come from this thing right here, and the way this shit works. However, just imagine for a second, for a minute even, of how this game would look with much better looking terrain and textures. Not animations, not even the handwork, but just the fucking textures. While I'm still quite new to Project Zomboid, I enjoy almost every single minute whenever I'm playing the game. There's just that something about it. And these were, for the most part, the only things that I disliked from my personal experience. Maybe my perspective would be so much more different than it is now if I played the vanilla version of the game. But come on, I believe there's a reason why the game has mod support and a massive workshop that just keeps getting bigger every single day. Whether you need more vehicles, guns, hell even sound effects, it's got everything. And maybe that is the reason why I love this game so much. So anyways, see you next time. Goodbye.